You know, just when I thought things couldn't go lower in the AI space, these things keep nuking. Turns out that when you launch an entire sector on free and fair mints, well, I wouldn't say fair, but on a free mint, turns out the sellers are like David Goggins, and they can just have infinite energy to sell into oblivion.
Who's gonna carry the boats, bro? It could get ugly. When you told me what AI 16Z is down to, like, I don't know, 200 million or something like that, I'm like, wow, that is quite a fall, considering it was like, you know, I was fully expecting it to be multiple billions, right? Yeah, it's interesting, man. You know, I think now's the time. I put out a tweet earlier today. It's like now the time the chatbot version of AI agents is over. Obviously, there's basically one winner. AI 16, whatever, the AI XBT is the winner. Prove the kind of thesis, and now it's okay. The builders actually have to produce something, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. Obviously, we're here, $1 million market cap for Hustle. You know, can it be something more? It's like we got to prove it now. It has to. You actually have to make something that works, and excited for that, man. Pumped.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a mistake. I mean, in hindsight, obviously it wasn't on purpose, but everyone was just branding these AI agents as chatbots when they're actually so much more.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, why would a chatbot be worth $1 billion? Like, that's existed forever. That doesn't make sense. But something like Hustle, who's so much more dynamic, who has so much more substance and so much more utility, obviously, like, that's the AI agent that we see and that we're building. And so that's just the difference. I mean, clearly AI chatbots are not going to be the game changer that anyone maybe thought that they would be, but really the technology in them and what they're able to do within the industry. That's why with Hustle, we talk about it being the interface layer. how you interface with crypto across chains. That's what Hustle does. He doesn't spam the timeline with nonsense all day. He's actually used to interact across blockchains. So
I actually would say that the KOL is like, I mean, we've seen it. Oh, it's just one thing now. It's just AI XBT. And yeah, he's successful. I think that's actually revolutionary. Like, I think that's actually incredible.
just that though. You think just that single?
Yeah, just that is not something to base an entire, you know, industry on, unless you're a social media manager, right? Or an, you know, an agency, not for crypto itself, not for crypto proper. You're right.
Facts.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that we stuck to our guns as a team and said that we're not turning this thing into a chatbot, even though the community asked us over and over and over, because we knew the thesis. We knew what was going to happen. And it was exactly what happened. All of these chatbots went literally to zero almost. I mean, granted, Tensor's at $1 million too, but we didn't enter into that space to get classified. And now, you know, when you open up the AI agent kind of sector, it's literally just straight down zero. I actually opened up. So we're on CoinGecko. Hustle's classified as an AI application. And that sector actually looks a little bit better than some of these other ones. Granted, I think we're something a little bit more than that, but not going down with the ship and seeing these kind of pump and dumps. You know, it's good to not be grouped into that cohort. Although simultaneously, we also kind of planted our flag in the industry of saying that, you know, we're going to be here because we know, you know, we've all been, this is all now of our third cycle, that Lindy effect's really important in this space. Like that, if you get that traction in the beginning, people always look back to see who was kind of there. But we avoided this kind of category that literally was 99, or it was, you know, 2000% up and then 99% down. Granted, we went to 20 million and then down to 1 million. So we're down just the same amount, but we're in a little bit of a different category.
Excited, man. And I mean, even though we're relatively haven't had that huge hype of, I don't know, I'm thinking of like some of the other teams that got over that $100 million mark. If you look at the mind share, and I kind of posted that, I know you did too, Jake, about the mind share of Hustle. I think that speaks not only to us here on stage, but just general community awareness building of the community itself, continuing to put out content that, you know, talks about Hustle, I think is pretty amazing, considering we don't really have the kind of core product out yet. So that, I think that's pretty awesome.
Damn, this is down even this is down even further than when I looked at it 30 minutes ago. It was at 6.5 billion total market cap, and now it's down to 6.17. So it's down another 300 million in the last 30 minutes.
It does jump around. I think their APIs aren't super accurate. I think they like kind of skip or something like that. It's not always like, it'll fluctuate a billion at times, so it does change pretty rapidly.
So yeah, Virtuals is at dude. Virtuals was literally at 5.5 billion at one point. Wow. And now it's at 700 million. So it is down also horrendously. Fartcoin, which was also over 2 billion, is at 440 million. Let's see, AI16Z down to 300 million, was at 2.1, I believe. And then AIXBT, I think, was just short of $1 billion and is at 221 million. I actually think it's held up the best. I mean, granted, it's down 80% or so, but I think that is probably the least impacted there because people love it. To be in the top.
Goat too. What did Goat get up to? Goat was well over $1 billion, wasn't it? It's down at like number 14 now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's Threads big investment was Goat. going with the narrative, the first, you know, all that sort of thing. And look, man, when people sell bags, they sell bags, right? And it's not like, you know, if your bag is, you know, those are basically, that's pure meme coin play. We see meme coins get absolutely demolished in down markets, and that's just across the board. Yeah.
It looks like
humble you, huh? It's never a surprise. Even though it's extremely volatile, everybody realizes it's extremely volatile. It's still shocking sometimes how crazy it actually can get.
Yep.
Go ahead,
look at these categories that Cookie.fun just added for AI. I didn't realize there were so many of these. So the top 5 categories by market cap in the AI space, you have meme at number 1 with 195 million, framework is number 2 at 150 million. DeFi, DFAI is at 85 million. Alpha, I guess that's AI
It's alpha
XBT.
callers, yeah.
The alpha callers, 26 million. Oh, that's volume. Never mind. Oh, market cap. So memes at 1.8 billion, frameworks at 1.2 billion, DeFi 700 mil, Alpha 400 mil, and then Swarm at 86 mil. There's some other interesting ones down here, right? These are kind of new and novel and only relative to the AI space. There's TEE/DEAI infra. That would be kind of what Emblem AI wallets would fit in. Granted, there's no token associated with Emblem AI. I guess keys would be associated with the wallets, but you have trading, app store, music, investment DAO, dev tools, 3D models, launch pads, etc. So the industry is growing. The amount of agents has also tailed off quite significantly. It was at, remember, they were putting on like a few hundred a day.
Yeah.
It's at 1,400 now.
Yep. It's still up like 40% in 2025 though, right? It was like 1,000. So
that's right.
It's 1,400. So that's still
but certainly slowed, like basically stopped, right? I guess it's just, people realize, well, if I can't make money launching it, why would I even launch it? And they are a little bit more complicated and expensive to launch than, a meme coin for sure. So
the one significant thing, I think I was going to tweet about this later, that I've noticed is that Solana is now pretty much in the clear lead for the AI sector. Base was ahead for a while. It seems like during this downturn, there's been a much larger sell-off in the base sector, although virtuals was always more than 50% of that. So Solana has 2.98 billion and base has 2.48 billion. Then other chains have taken a little bit, which is Ethereum, BNB, Arbitrum, and Avalanche. Ethereum has 660 million, and that's at a 1.14 billion.
They added Venice to the base lot, right?
I would assume so.
At some point.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So that's crazy to even see. I mean, that thing must be down 90%.
It's down to 136 mil.
I think it was at 2 billion FTV at some point.
Wow, so you're saying then that virtuals in Venice is essentially 1 billion. So it's like almost 50% of that. So Chris, what do you think then happens? Where do you think we go from here? Do you think that there's some more segmentation or bifurcation to where, base gets certain type of AI, Solana maybe just continues to consume everything? What's your thoughts here?
Chain, I mean, obviously it's because of our thesis as well, but the singular chain AI agents just never made sense. You want to let them roam freely on the internet. They're scraping data from online as a whole, just like you would want them to roam freely across blockchains. So to keep it into a singular blockchain just never really made sense to me. And that's why I'm so bullish on Hustle, is because he has multi-chain capabilities. And why would a single chain AI agent be worth a massive amount of money when he's so siloed into only the opportunities on that single chain or only the transactions on that single chain? So I think the future of AI agents is clearly multi-chain. And it was always strange to me to silo them into singular chains.
What's up, Dogfather? Good to see you, GM.
Yo,
GM. Yeah, just my 2 cents on these AI agent discussions. So I'm participating with 3 dev friends in the cookie hackathon. So I had access to all the data. So not just like what you typically see on the first few pages, but just all 1,400 agents with all kind of metrics that they provide. And at the end, you can see there's at the moment around 400 to 300 to 400 agents that have any social media traction. So, I mean, talking about mindshare, the rest is flat zero. I mean, there's just nothing going on. And around 1,000 or 1,100 have non-zero prices. So forget about these 1,400. It's basically, we talk about way less. And the post you pinned now is just looking at the individual KPIs that Cookie is providing. And the far most important one is mindshare. And this is also explaining why AXBT is still doing okay compared to the others. Not, in total and absolute, but, relative to the others, they're doing great. because they can attract so much mind share, and this is extremely important. So you need to push hard. This is also why it's cool to have Hustle being relatively well ranked. You need to grab the attention. That's the most important thing to stay relevant. If you're not able to grab the attention, if you're off the timeline, you go to zero. So
Yeah.
that's the lesson learned from looking a bit deeper into the data.
What are you guys building over there?
I mean, at the end, you see what Cookie is delivering, and so we want to do something also like an alpha tool where you see not in the top ones, but in, let's say, the mid to small caps, what is rising, and then just
Are you kind of making?
because
Are you
we
making
want
like an alpha caller? Is that your idea, or
something like that? Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
at least with the data they have in a week, what can you build, right? So the first thing that comes to your mind is, hey, it would be cool to know if there's a new one or a team is shipping something cool. If this is like raising, that if you have that signal, then just go in. Before everyone else can do that, because you're just way faster if you have a bot. And then you fire out a few tweets about that, and then you see once you get out of that. That's just the easiest way you can do with the data that they provide, because it should be using the cookie data and not just whatever. I think half of the hackathon teams will do that, so we will not be alone, but we have a few tweaks here and there that hopefully make that interesting.
It's crazy how in the last 3 or 4 months, ever since the AI boom happened, I don't know if this is because of Kaido or because of Cookie Fund, but the word mind share is like such a respected metric now. It's literally everywhere. And the mind share, it's so vague too, because you don't really know what the AI that they're using or the algorithm on the back end. For me, when I explain it to people and they ask, I just say it's a measure of influence that a post has, which is a little bit different from engagement, which is what Twitter does. But again, right, it's still a little vague, so you don't really know what's going on in the back end. But it's hit home. People love that. It's an easy metric. I guess it's great for AI as well, so you can kind of quantitatively measure the output of what the agent's doing, and then see if you need some qualitative adjustments. So cool for you, Dogfather, as well. One other final thing on AI that I saw, which was interesting yesterday, is AI XBT actually added some tokenomics to peers for their holders. If you own AI XBT, you can link your Twitter account to their terminal in some way, and then you receive these different types of perks, which is obviously he's the alpha caller and he has over 400,000 followers. Some of the perks include a higher chance of receiving a tip. AI XBT remembers you, right? That's like kind of the cool thing with Agent Hustle. You get up to 2 replies per conversation. Right now, he only replies once. You can summon him in any thread. And then you have the AI XBT chat and AI XBT terminal, as well as priority replies. I thought this was pretty cool. This seems to be like a pretty good direction for some of these bots. What do you think, Adam?
Is this the thing we had heard about before, where it's like you had to have like 300,000 worth of the token, or this is like a lower tier now for this? Do you know?
I believe this is a lower tier. They didn't put the metrics on here, but this is from the founder himself. Said we'll be adding more perks progressively and making the UI clear over the upcoming week. So I'm assuming then that this is something of a lower tier.
Very cool. I mean, I like the idea. I like them playing around with this. I actually might go buy a little and see what happens. I mean, if you just think about it, even for, I don't know, your Yap engagement or something like that, right? If, Jake, if you're trying to get more Yaps and stuff, maybe having AI XBT reply to you, or engage with you at a higher level is good. Like, I mean, we all know that if whatever, I don't know, Frank or somebody who's big on the timeline, Udi or whatever, retweets your stuff, you're going to get more engagement, right? So this is just kind of like diving into that KOL kind of layer of like what interactions are going to be, the tokenization of interactions and stuff. It's cool to play around with that. It's interesting.
What do you think, Dogfather?
Yeah, man, that's really cool, because I mean, this is still, the thing with the biggest mind share. And I mean, the average response by AXPT and also some other bots is way better than the average Twitter user. So it's definitely not. I think it's definitely worth throwing some dollars at AXPT. And I haven't heard about that. That's pretty cool. Just coming back to your mindshare discussion, Jake, I think mindshare is definitely a super smart concept, because take all these super large Twitter accounts that are either botted or that bought some followers, and just the concept of smart follower is already extremely useful. So if you look at the correlation between the market cap of these agents, with their raw follower count and their smart follower count, the raw follower count is basically has no, explanatory power. This is basically zero. While the smart followers is like 10 times higher or 15 times higher explanatory power compared to the unadjusted followers. So I think the mindshare gives you just a way better idea how important a certain account or certain sector is, because it basically takes away a lot of noise and focuses on the signal. And that's like not that easy these days, because the Twitter API is a bitch, and having enough data to have good data points for that is definitely something that's not that easy. So there we have now cookie 3. That's also what the cookie fun dashboard is using. We have Kato. We have probably a few more, but it's not that easy. So that's definitely something, a metric people really love.
Yeah, I totally agree. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about the Bitcoin ecosystem, which has also been having a little bit of a harsh time, to be honest, but also some new advancements. Just looking at kind of the basic prices, we saw Bitcoin Puppets is down to 0.054. That's kind of where the low was. It bounced up to almost 0.07. And Node Monkeys are now taking the clear lead there at 0.063 BTC. Quantum Cats yesterday announced a $30 million raise. That was kind of wild out of nowhere. The team is doubling down on this idea of OpCat being passed. But I don't know if you guys tuned into the Ordinal show yesterday. They started talking about OpCat towards the end. And it seems like a lot of the developers are not fans of OpCat, to be honest. And I see some of these like voting boards, and it seems like OpCTV seems to be has a little bit of an edge on it. And what's your take on the raise and also just the doubling down of trying to force through this OpCat upgrade?
Well, I'm just wondering what Udi's like backup plan is, right? If OpCat, I'm assuming right now we're assuming he's like building this bridge or L2, something along the lines of OpCat. But if they can't get OpCat through, what's the follow-up strategy, right? And I'm sure he has some strategy. Maybe it's just, dropping more, PFP collections. I don't know, man. But as far as the overall market, I mean, look, the market's moved. Frankly, it's moved on, from this. It's like they moved on from runes, ordinals. It's all down. It's just like ETH NFTs. It's all down. Doesn't mean it won't pop. There will be pops, but something's, it's the market wants something more than just trading, really slow meme coins on Bitcoin. For me right now, it just, even with kind of maybe the upgrades and faster, it just feels like they're not going to be able to attract the meme coin trader. It's just not going to happen. Unless a developer or team, whatever, come out with something which is like a game changer, something that's different. I definitely haven't seen it so far. And so it's going to be some ugly. It is ugly right now. And I think it may get uglier until somebody launches something that grabs real attention, not just a copy pasta, not just trying to do pump.fun. I mean, we've seen people do pump.fun. It doesn't really work because all the attention's already there. And so what kind of worked? Well, virtuals on base worked, and now it's crashed down to zero. But for a moment in time, it grabbed market share, grabbed attention, everybody moved. And you have to get that kind of movement thing, which is what ordinals did. Like ordinals moved people. But you got to have like the next thing that moves people. It's just, that's what it is. And right now I don't see anything, but Yeah, it's hard to track everything.
We talked about this with with T.O. on Tuesday. Like, what if the concept was that just meme coins, runes are not meant for meme coins. Runes are meant for maybe something like utility tokens or something like infra coins. Also because Bitcoin has 10-minute block times, right? And if you're building an infrastructure project like Emblem and you want people to be holding these tokens and using them, the 10-minute block time becomes more of a feature to
That's
it,
right.
right? Than a bug. It becomes, and you look at all the other ecosystems on Bitcoin. Ordinals are considered a collector's kind of mindset. Counterparty is considered, right, an art collector's mindset. And Bitcoin itself, right? Laser eye maxis, they're known for literally never selling. Like they're like, we will pass this down to our kids. We're never going to sell these things. It was like, why are we trying to force runes to be that kind of high friction mentality? It was taking the right. You're basically taking the meta of, or I guess it's a mega trend, right, of Solana and the high TPS and high tension and trying to apply it over here. Dog was able to break out of it because, again, the dog community is not high friction traders. They're people who are literally just diamond handing it all the way up to the top. There's so many posts about people just never selling. I've literally never sold dog that I was airdropped, and there's many people of that nature. So, Chris, what's your take on the Bitcoin ecosystem, where it currently stands today, and then does it evolve to something else, or how does it improve to reattract some attention?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's just like a price problem. Like it's a price problem across the board for Ethereum. It's a price problem across the board for NFTs. It's a price problem for runes and the Bitcoin ecosystem. The problem with the Bitcoin ecosystem is that it's so new and you need a separate wallet to get over to the ecosystem. And there's not a mass onboarding event that has happened since the very beginning, since the pre-runes launched to runes. And so you don't have any high quality drops. You don't have any business development teams working on new launches. It's just the same money sloshing around and then some of it leaving. So you need an onboarding event, and it just hasn't had it. There hasn't been any centralized exchanges that have caught on board. And that's the problem with Bitcoin, which is also its biggest strength, is that it's decentralized. There's no team behind it. There's no Solana Foundation that's pushing for new mints or high quality teams to come and build on it, right? So I mean, it's going to be completely organic, and that's kind of why it's struggling within its own right. But I mean, I think that there's going to be an on-chain Bitcoin economy, regardless of whether it happens today or next year or whenever it happens. In my opinion, it's a guarantee that it will happen. And the runes community doesn't really do good service to themselves, right? They have Magic Internet Money, which is the biggest launch since pre-runes, launching in 12 days, and there's not even a ton of support for it. If there's not a lot of support for a launch like that within their own community, why would anyone outside of the community care to look towards that sector of the market
100%.
when there's other places that you can put your money? And like I said, it really is just kind of a price problem. I mean, it feels like someone just took like $100 billion out of the entire market, just like siphoned it directly. I don't know where it went. Maybe some of it went to Trump. Maybe some of it went to Melania. But it seems like so much bigger than that, right? Like Ethereum's down, Solana's down, AVAX doesn't even exist anymore. No one knows what Polkadot is. The Bitcoin, like what is up, right? Almost nothing is up except for Bitcoin itself. So we have these, and we haven't been onboarding new people because everybody that's been onboarded this cycle has been through the ETF. So that money from the ETFs hasn't translated back into the crypto market necessarily. So where does the Bitcoin ecosystem go from here? I think that they should support their own, and they should get excited about their own community, and that pure excitement will kind of grow. It'll be felt outside of that ecosystem, but until they give a fuck what's going on within their own ecosystem, I can't imagine that they should expect anyone else to.
Yeah, man. We have onboarded some people, but basically it's meme coin traders, right? And 15-year-old meme coin traders trading on TikTok aren't necessarily the people we're looking to onboard, right? We want like boomers, rich boomers to buy bags and hold them for years. Like that's what you want. right? And we've onboarded, we've decided meme coins are this onboarding mechanism. Like they'll use crypto, but they're not even going to come buy your old meme coin bags. They're not even buying Doge, dude. They're creating their own skibbity toilet freaking meme coin and just dumping it on your ass. They don't give a shit, right? And so, yeah, it's a strange cycle for sure. It's very, very strange. Like it's a good overall for crypto cycle. Like, how could you be? I've never been more bullish crypto than I am right now. This is like, it's incredible. But at the same time, it's terrible for our bags because it's like this weird mix of, you know, ETF, boomers getting in through the ETFs, and then just meme coin dump on your head on the other end. And we need this utility in the middle. And so hopefully, yeah, to Jake's point, hopefully we move in that direction.
What's up, Dogfather?
Yeah, it's definitely a very good take to think about this meme coin traders. Where should they belong? Definitely the worst chain for that is Bitcoin, right? I mean, that's like the most unlikely chain that this is gonna happen. I mean, in particular on L1. So it's just a different animal. I bet more on DeFi because I think everything that's of high value and that needs a lot of decentralization, like whether it's an artwork worth a million or whether that's like huge DeFi operations, they should be on the most secure and most decentralized network. So I think DeFi, even though it makes, it takes some time to build that out and to have a fleshed out system, belongs on Bitcoin because it's high value. Like take the Liquidium guys, they made almost 4,000 Bitcoin in loan volume, and these are sometimes loans up to $100,000. I mean, those belong on a secure chain. Period, right? And I think we need more of that. So just today I read about a Bitcoin-packed stablecoin like Helvetica. I think this is pretty cool. I mean, we see these cool teams building that, but of course they're not sitting on 100 million and have like 50, 100 devs working on that. So it takes a lot of time. But I think we will have some more use cases, and probably shitcoins is not the most prominent one.
Yeah, I totally agree. We've got some growth periods.
Even though I don't even know if it's the Solana ecosystem that's really made the impact, but I think it's the Solana mindset that's made the impact. Where, like I said, we used to be ideal based. People really used to love this technology and love the communities and want to be part of a community. But it's kind of just been infiltrated with everyone just trying to get super rich and not caring about anything else, and that becoming the main priority of the entire industry, which is pretty sick. And it used to be about, building a sovereign world and joining a community and kind of being a part of something a little bit more than just making money. And ever since like that kind of ethos of I need to get rich at all costs kind of took over the entire industry, no one will hold anything. Everyone is in it for 10 minutes and they move on to the next one. And it's kind of really, it's pretty segmented. It's done some pretty destructive things to the whole industry.
Yeah, I've heard it said the worst thing that happened to crypto was the early crypto guys all got rich, and it's true to a large extent. Like the original crypto ethos, you see it on the timeline. There's a handful of people who still hold on to that, and everybody else has moved on to this, get rich as quick as possible and get out mentality. Who do we have on stage? Crypto King, what's up?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, man? Glad to be here. Been having a lot of fun, dabbling in a lot of new things. But yeah, one of the things you said previously, I like to think the 80-20 rule in the crypto space is more like the 95-5 rule, where 5% of the early people like kind of rule a lot of the narratives. I think a lot of what we're seeing right now, for me, what I'm seeing certain things like DAOs, small cap DAOs, certain things like that are they're interesting. Where do we go from here? If we look at the early stages of Web3 to now, everything's kind of like take a little bit of that meta, move it to a next meta, move it to a next meta, and then so for me, I kind of always in my mind, in my spaces and communities, I predicted that we'd see a big drastic fall kind of in these certain AI coins, because it's moving, you know, we are only as good as our attention moves. So from what I'm seeing, the current meta, which was that meta, is now going to move to something else, which another thing is we're also seeing a lot of kind of these web 2ish like moonshots, like they're getting a lot of mind shares as well. You know, like Moonshot, when the Trump thing came out, they did $400 to $500,000 worth of I think fees in one day. And so a lot of that also is being spread out over there. You have all these different chains. So I don't think, as much as we are an echo chamber in mindshare, I think we're now a little bit more spread out. So it's hard to like say capital is over here, capital is over there, because unfortunately, we only have so much capital in the space. And so as I think we spread out, not only do we spread out, but we also are going to see certain metas that are going to fall off, you know, just because of attention as well. And so my thing is always to stay, what's the current thing that gets the attention? And unfortunately, you know, yeah, people are going to move, you know, they're going to keep moving. I think the good stuff will stick and everything else will kind of like, you know, not fall off, but we'll have to, then that is, do they have a good team to then, you know, stay with the current meta, bring it into their technology and develop what is currently right now getting the attention, you know?
They call it the great rotation cycle. I've seen that word pop up on the timeline over the last few weeks. It's healthy, as Adam said, for the overall ecosystem. You're seeing these different sectors and industries mature, right? Like AI, the L2 space went, what, 50x? Like there's like 50x more L2s than there was last cycle. Launchpad space blew up and there's 50 bajillion launchpads. Obviously, so a lot of those will end up failing, and unfortunately, and then those users will then migrate to whoever the leaders are, right? And that's what these consolidation periods are for, is to kind of bleed out the losers. And eventually will go up. The price will go back up once the development begins to outpace the price. But right now, we're kind of in the other side where the price vastly outpaced the development speed, and now the teams need to basically channel their energy back together and not be bothered by the win marketing crowd every 5 seconds.
It just feels like the rotations this cycle, though, are many, many times faster than in 21 or whatever. Like the rotation in 21 was like DeFi, a little bit into meme coins, then NFTs, and NFTs ran for a year. Right here, it's like, dude, if it's a week, it's like a long cycle. I mean, it just feels like we're in hyperspeed right now. A hyperspeed rotation.
Yeah, it feels like 3 days instead of a week.
Exactly, dude. Oh, it's like AI coins are dead. It's like, dude, it's been a month. What? You know? Yeah, it's literally it's
and I mean, crazy. I think all that comes with the infrastructure being more accessible to everyone, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, now it used to cost $30,000 to deploy a contract on Ethereum, deploy a new meme coin. Now it costs 10 cents. You used to have to, you know, you'd get into NFTs, you would PFP, maybe grab a PFP, maybe grab a few others. You were kind of tied to that community. Now it's a meme coin. You can sell it without a second thought. It's gone. You're on to the next new dog with a different hat. Maybe the dog's not wearing a hat this time. That's exciting.
Where the market's also just largely more crowded with sophisticated traders, right? When there's deeper liquidity, you get more algo bots trading. You have more institutional players, whether they're trading officially through their accounts or they're just kind of doing it on the side. You see this start seeing people get wiped out much faster, and the rotations happen much faster as well, which probably means a lot of these projects then are going to succeed and die much quicker as well. Ultimately, I've become more to the opinion recently that, you know, if you're a crypto protocol and you've existed for this long, like I think it's much more likely that you're going to exist here into the near future. The Lindy effect, because it's going to become a lot more. The climate is a lot more harsh today to start a project than it is to launch a token project. I mean, granted, look at 2017. Anybody could get funding for a project and launch it, right? Because you had the white paper, and launching the token was was also difficult. Now you fast forward today, as Chris said, anybody could launch a token for free. Like last cycle in 2017 or last cycle in 2021 to launch an NFT project, you had to find a developer, you had to find a marketer, right? You had to, like, that's where the costs come in. Now it's, you could just launch a token for free. And now to launch a project, it not only do you have to raise $1 billion, but it also takes years to launch. Like Barrel launched yesterday, it took 2 years from them to launch, right? So there's a lot more that goes into building a protocol, because now, you know, if you're going to launch a new blockchain, you have to have a whole application layer that exists. You need to have something new and novel, or else people aren't interested. You have to, right, incentivize people. You have to get creative with the distribution, tokenomics. Like Barachain, they awarded 0.25% of their supply to the top creators who had been bull posting about Bara over the last year. So there's just so many more angles and dynamics to launching these different types of protocols. It's making it just infinitely more inaccessible to the everyday builder, where back in 2017, you could just be a team like Shannon and Eric launched Humblevault. It's just 2 guys, right? Like obviously they had dev skills, but there was really no barrier. Like doing that today, a lot more difficult.
And I also think the funnel of the signal, like earlier you brought up internet magic. I had to look it up. I didn't hear about it, you know, like, and so like, and that's the thing. There's a lot of times where I'm finding the signal a little later, because the mind share is actually noise. You know, it's a lot of noise going on where the good stuff is getting kind of clogged in, where it doesn't, you know, the signal doesn't come as quick, you know, like, so also that's a thing where you know, we've became so, the mind share has become so noisy that sometimes the good stuff doesn't always get through, you know.
Bro, that's why we need these AI agents as quickly as possible, bro. I mean, how fast do you want one of these guys watching the timeline for you, right? And filtering through the noise, man. I mean, it's like, honestly, it can't come fast enough, dude. We all need it. Every single one of us needs this.
The alpha bots themselves. Speaking of attention, recently PumpFun was launched, which was Bob Bodley's attempt at creating a PumpFun ecosystem, or a launchpad for the Bitcoin runes protocol. I have it here pulled up on the live stream. I haven't participated. I've been watching it. It's kind of interesting. It looks like there's about an average of 5 tickers launching per hour or so. I've been kind of monitoring it since it launched on Monday. Still doesn't seem like there's that much volume, to be honest. I know they posted that there's been 10 million so far. I know a lot of that volume was actually people over the weekend trading when it was this private beta.
With 10 million, that's like a fake fine. That's like a fake Facebook coin on stuff in like an hour.
Dude, seriously, that's like half of a good coin on Pump.
Like an average coin, like a fake Facebook coin for no reason that's been pumped 10 times before.
But for you know, like it is a, you know, like it was a tough time to launch, you know, like, and honestly, because I was in their spaces when they announced it, like kind of talked about this, and I shared it with my community, and their response to me was, which coin is good? And it's like, guys, you know, just watch the charts and stuff. People just want that signal, you know, like, and I love what they're doing, you know, like, and I've been watching as well for the last 48 to 72 hours, trying to, you know, get the feel of the platform and everything. I look forward to seeing what they're going to do as well.
What you just said reminds me, like when I used to work with my brother who has an options platform for traditional options, the stock market options, right? And, you know, we got it down to this, basically, he had all this data, right? It was like all this data, get overwhelmed. And I kept trying to convince him, like, bro, at the end of the day, people just want to be told what they want, what they should buy. There should just be like, buy this. That should be the button. Buy this. Because at the end of 99% of us, like, that's literally what we want. To your point, it's true. We want to know, man, at the end of the day, what should we do? And
well, and I'm bullish in the future on certain things, like the way that they're running certain DAOs, where it's like, you know, or like personal hedge funds that are, and I know these words are muddy words, but like a place where you can go to see what knowledgeable investors are actually getting into early, where you're not just like throwing darts at a bullseye, you know, like,
Yeah, bro, you
but
want to be in
again,
the
we
cabal,
have a
bro.
lot
You
of
want to be in the
actors that
cabal. We
can
get
muddy.
it. Everybody wants to be in the cabal. The problem is if the cabal gets too big, then it's not a cabal anymore, right? Then it's, you know.
No,
just
I want to be in my own cabal. I don't want to be in others' cabal. I don't want to end up being a follower. Hopefully I will be a leader, you know, like definitely.
Yeah, then you're Gen Pop.
Yeah. I mean, well, look, at the end of the day, what I just mentioned, like with you know, what really needs to happen on Bitcoin is you need to actually be a leader. You need to actually create something new and novel. That's where all the mind share then flows. That's where the value creation actually happens. Is somebody or some team who's able to do things in such a new, novel way that it grabs all that mind share, grabs all that attention, and people then mimic, copy, try to do it again. But that's the hard thing. It's really fucking hard to do that.
Let's look at some of these numbers here. And I want to highlight a few things that Bob I thought did really well. And then I'll start with that part and then we'll talk about the numbers. Bob launched this thing, Odin Fun. He didn't tell a single person that it was literally kind of an L2, right? That it uses ICP on the background. He did this whole chain abstraction thing. And I thought that was like a big aha moment for me, whether Odin Fun is successful or not. I hope it is. But to me, I think that kind of kicked the door down for builders to use off-chain. When I say off-chain, I mean just not on Bitcoin, right? You could use these other kind of blockchains or off, or even, you know, off, I guess you'd say off-chain, right? Like Arch is kind of off-chain because it's not on a blockchain, but you can use these kind of, use things outside of Bitcoin and build with it and, you know, have it in a chain abstracted way to where you can just log in with Unisat or Xverse. And most of the people have no idea that it's running on ICP in the background. I actually didn't know this until I was listening to or read somebody talk about this, but when you deposit the Bitcoin, it's automatically swapping it to CKBTC. They don't even tell you that it's not even Bitcoin anymore, which I thought was kind of interesting. But if that's the route we're going down, I think it's better.
100%.
Honestly, maybe there's a warning or something, or maybe it just should be common knowledge. But the fact that you're depositing Bitcoin, swapping it to CKBTC, and then that's what's allowing all these fast transfers is because you're using the Internet Computer native BTC. And then when you withdraw it, it reverts it back to normal BTC. That, to me, I think is where this industry is going to continue to head now. I think you're going to see a lot more of these things happen. I think over time, less and less people are going to care, which generally is going to be bullish because it's going to push innovation. Obviously, there's people who are going to have issues with it where it's, hey, I deposit this and then you, on my behalf, swap this to a new token and it's not my token anymore, right? Some people are always going to have issues with that, and that's okay. But users want something fast and accessible. So I think that aspect to me is the biggest innovation here. Is the social barrier, I think, has really just been kind of kicked down there. And we could finally move forward with a lot more cool applications, and people will finally accept that, hey, this isn't nothing we want to do in a Bitcoin native ecosystem unless you just trade runes like on Magic Eden. You need some other strengths. You need to leverage some other strengths of some other ecosystems. So positives there. Looking at the numbers, I know Bob said that they've done 10 million in volume. You look at these top 10 tokens that I have here on the screen, you see there's 4 of them in the top 12 or so were deployed a month ago. So Bob said that he deployed 10 tickers to start so that people could ape into. And 3 of the top 5 are the ones that he launched. The number 1 is Odin Dog, which was actually the first ticker of the ecosystem. So just kind of playing into the Bitcoin kind of trend where low number means number go up. So that one has a market cap of 1.3 million and it has $2.8 million in volume. You go down to the second most volume ticker, has 1.1 million. The market cap on that's dropped to 46,000. So it's just kind of sold off. And what you see here in a trend is that the ones with the highest market caps are the top 2 are the ones that Bob deployed. The rest of these that are been deployed recently since the platform launched. The highest one has $150,000 market cap. So it's people just literally kind of trading these, or they're just cycling dollars, or I guess sats
So
together.
So explain this to me. So Odin Dog it's a rune, right? So the market cap on that rune is 1.3 million, which is like, that seems really low, doesn't it? But but is it only low because the friction point for trading it is so easy that it's at 1.3 billion? Like, is that real? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like really.
So here, this is what's happening. So once it hits 1 Bitcoin in value, then it gets bonded, but they're calling it Ascension on this platform.
Yep.
And then it goes and you click on liquidity. These are all the tokens that have ascended or bonded. They've reached over $1 billion mark, or 1 million, or 1 Bitcoin market cap at some point. And you could go in here and you could trade them actively on, right? You could trade it once it's ascended, where the difference is on PumpFun, when it bonds, you trade it on Radium. You don't trade it in-house on PumpFun. So this is the clear difference, is they're basically creating like a whole entire vertical here. So what happens here on, I'll go back, just when you see these tokens here, you'll see it says Odin Dog, but at the bottom the ticker is odindog.id.xxxx.odin. So the XXXX is, once it's bonded or ascended, then they will etch it and they will put the etching number in there. So that's to prevent somebody from front running it. So all of these tokens here that haven't bonded haven't been etched yet. So technically Odin Fund has only etched like 13. These are the only ones that have been etched so far. And you can continue to trade it here. Apparently you can withdraw it. I talked about this on Ordinal Revolution show on Friday, that the one issue, the glaring issue that I see here is there's no path to using this as a long-term project. And what I mean by that is, if this token bonds and you're trading it, so for example, let's say a team launched Odin Dog, right? And this is going to be a token for some sort of utility project. Since it's bonded, you have, if you have 200 or 300 holders here and they can withdraw, you now have to basically incentivize the whole entire community to individually withdraw their runes that were etched, right? So what is the likelihood that you're going to get 500 people to withdraw them so that you can then trade them on Magic Eden, as a native rune, or import them to Solana? Like, unless he builds a way, like an application inside of ICP to where you can just bridge your rune from ICP to Solana, and there's some sort of conversion there. I see a real issue about using this as anything more than just kind of short-term trading. Like, why would you, if you could get some of the attention, but as we know, and we've seen through Emblem and through historical NFTs, that the general penetration rate you get for a community to try to move things, whether they're bridging or wrapping assets, is really, the upper bound is really around 80%. And even if you're getting something close to 20%, like, you're doing good. I think this was the issue with Pups, is that they literally couldn't get anyone to bridge or do anything. And they even ended up acquiring, I think it was like $80 million of Pups, because people just didn't bridge. They just weren't paying attention, or whatever the case is. So I do see that there's an issue in terms of being a long-term builder and using this, but for trading purposes, if you want to launch things, then like, feel free. Maybe Bob has a solution, or maybe he's mentioned it, but for now, I think it's a cool innovation. And I think just the chain abstraction to me here is the biggest innovation.
Yeah.
I know if I could say, because a lot of these funds, I'd love to see, because I've been in those circles where you're trading and then they're like, okay, it's about to bond, dump, because it's about to bond. This is the top, and it's like, I would love to see like incentive where it's like, if you stick around, like I was in another platform, I'm not going to name names, but like they had a thing where they took a certain portion of the coin, put it to the side, and it was called the Marketing for Community like fund. And after the coin bonded, you tweet it out and it would give you a certain amount of coins for like staying around. A lot of these because you have investors that all they're doing is playing the pre-bonded market, where it's like get in real early, dump before it bonds, find the next one to do the same. And I would love to see like that post-bond incentive that would keep people around. I think it would be huge, not only for this platform, but a lot of them, you know.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit, just like even locking up pre-bond as well. Like if a dev could lock up, you know, or time lock a certain amount of tokens over time. Yeah, I think there's interesting stuff to play around with. I haven't really seen much motion as far as you know, Pump.Fun or one of these important platforms to take it on, but certainly seems like there would be some potentially interesting things to happen there. Jake, can you go back to the one of the numbers that have actually bonded? Because it looked like
This is it.
so all the ones that are below 100K basically.
No, these have all bonded. These have all bonded. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the market cap there of like 62,000, 27,000. That means it's kind of below bonding price though, right? So those are basically sold off. Yep. Interesting. All right.
So I was just looking through the Bob's Balls, which is the number 2, has number 2 volume. So it's bonded. So it means the token's been etched. There's 588 owners. So that means you have to have 588 individual people basically withdraw these because they have their own. Because you can't, because since it's been etched and distributed, right now it's sitting there in, I'm assuming, an escrow contract, to where then when you hit withdrawal, the specific amount will then be applied to that account to then withdraw. So to me, I just see it as it's going to be tough to do that if it's long-term builder, but you know, maybe there's some mechanisms around it. Chris, what's your take? Have you used OdinFun or dabbled around with it at all?
I've been on it. I haven't purchased anything. First of all, it'll never not be funny that people are using ICP, Internet Computer Protocol. Like, that is the funniest name, funniest launch, biggest meme token in the industry. Hilarious that it actually has some tech behind it. That's great. And second of all, it's bullish for runes. If they bond, they become runes. That makes the runes protocol much more sticky than something like BRC20 at the moment. I mean, the thing that they're missing, which everyone knows, is you need to have some runners. I mean, the thing that Binance does is they have enough money when they launch a product. They allow other people to make money. They make waves by, you know, having successful launches. When they launched Binance Launchpad or any of those, you know, they would have good projects, but they would also fund, you know, huge moves so that the community would want to get involved and attract attention. So I think it's bullish for the runes ecosystem. I just think it goes to show how little money is in the Bitcoin ecosystem right now. Like, I mean, they were having trouble reaching $1 million market cap. That's crazy. You know, that's like nothing. And this is like on their first day of launch. So if they don't have any runners within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be kind of DOA, in my opinion. So they need to do whatever they can to make sure that there's some sort of success in terms of people making money on that platform before nobody cares about it any longer.
It's a fantastic point. Like, just with whatever base meme coins on base or whatever, just having one go to $1 billion, right? And obviously it's completely manipulated and all the rest of it, but creates attention, right? It creates attention. And yeah, you're 100%. Even whatever CZ had one today. They did a launch pad on Binance, and CZ was like, "This isn't my token, and I don't condone it, but I'm going to put it out there and let you know about it." Right? It was like, okay, jump to $30 million in 5
Yeah, they clearly know what they're doing there.
Yeah,
100%. Exactly. And like I said, that's the meta. People, above anything else at this point in time in this industry, people only care about making money. And if you cannot make money for your customers, they're not going to use your product. And that's where we're at. Whether you like it or you hate it, that's where we're at.
Yep.
Dogfather, have you played around with Odin.Fun yet?
Yeah, at the weekend I had a look. Then I went through the memes that were already there, and I was like, where are the memes? I mean, where are the funny memes? So I couldn't find any.
Wait, Bob's Balls didn't entice you, bro?
Yeah, I mean, these images, I don't know, not that great. I mean, maybe just not my type of humor. But I looked at the early ones that would typically pop, and there was nothing around. And I think at the end, it's a size issue, right? If you're like, if you're like Binance, if you're like super large, then I mean, look at what Murat is pushing, you know, like funny meme coins that should be bigger than the stock market. I mean, this is hilarious. But I mean, these guys are then huge enough, and then they gain traction just by being large. If you're like a mid-sized account like Bob and others, it's very hard to produce these types of 1 billion or 100 million plus valuations. It's just not, it just don't grab enough mind share, you know. It's just not coming back to the mind share thing. You just don't grab enough attention. You just, I mean, even Leo has a hard time to keep dog running, right? And so if you're not having this type of a reach, it's very hard this cycle. It's always very hard, but it's in this cycle extremely hard.
Speaking of Leo, they announced at or.io that I believe, I don't know what it is that they're launching. It's called I think it was or.fun, I think is what it was, right? Is that what it was? Yeah, Funtoshi.
Yep.
He's got 5,000 followers on here, which is already double what the own.fun account has. And they haven't even released the product yet.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Excited for it.
Yeah, me too. So here, let's go over to it real quick to see kind of what this thing is. So he has it automated. So it is an AI bot of some nature. And do you think this is, so the account, it's tweeting in all caps. Leo definitely knows what he's doing here. Do you think this is the launch pad, or do you think he's doing something else? I know he likes the social stuff. It's baked all over or.io. He obviously has he has Dog, which is over 50% of the entire Runes market cap, right? He's got 250,000 followers, got the attention. What's he cooking up here?
Who knows, man? I don't know. We'll see. I hope it would be something like I've touched on a couple times now, something really cool and innovative and new. That said, really, really hard to do that, but hey, man, you know, he's got a good team over there. You know, obviously we're backers of him and what they're building over there. I'm excited for it. You know, he has, to Dogfather's point, he can generate some attention, right? So, but can this move the needle? Can it be something interesting? It can't just be a Runes launch platform because they've already done that, right? It's got to be something maybe social, maybe, who knows, man, who knows? But certainly that teaser got me a little excited.
Yeah, Adam and I were Angels in or.io, so they sent the newsletter out. He didn't hint what it was. I definitely know he's cooking something up. Leo's always been that way, where he lets the people around him know something's coming, but he never tells you exactly what it is. So I'm kind of interested. Chris, do you think Funtoshi or or.fun, you think Leo can grab some attention here with whatever he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job. He has a huge community. I mean, without Leo, the Runes protocol would be in complete shambles. So, totally. I mean, he's like the single biggest voice that's keeping that whole entire ecosystem alive. So if he can point attention anywhere, he can point it to, you know, Funtoshi. I haven't looked into it. I don't really know much about it or have any kind of guesses as to what he's building. But if there's one person in the Runes ecosystem, even almost bigger than Casey at this point in time, like more important to the ecosystem than Casey, it would be Leo. So
yo, fuck Casey. What has Casey done, man? Casey just like drops fucking projects and then just drops it. Come on, man. Get out there so fucking tweet my bags, bro.
That's what Satoshi did. It's the same thing, right? He just built it and left it.
Builds it and leaves, bro. Come on out here. Dump my bags, dude. Right?
I still one of my 2025 predictions that I had there was that Casey was going to make an upgrade to the Runes protocol at some point. Even though he said he's not going to do it, I still think he's going to come in at some point. His pride and ego is too large to just let Runes die if things don't work out. I just see it that way. He also
talks about Runes every day on Hell Money podcast, right?
Yeah, I mean, he talks negative about him the whole time, which means that he really cares about it.
But I mean, still, his whole show is based on Runes, and I mean, I don't see too many quotes coming out of there or too much information, but he still thinks about it every single day. So I would agree that it's likely that he will put some type of upgrade to the protocol.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Well,
do y'all mind if I say what I think on the Leo part?
Sure, I would love to hear if anyone has any thoughts.
Yeah, one thing y'all were saying earlier that made me think is like, if you can't get the $1 billion coin, you know, you get the people that have the mind share. And Leo, to me, has the most mind share. Like, he's one of the ones, like, if he throws a space up, you'll see me there. You'll see a lot of the people that I follow there. And so I think if anyone can grab the attention, because right now the attention was taken away, like with AI XBT and all these ones. So, you know, build something that has like a terminal involved, that has that, you know, you punch up on the ones that are leading in the space, and then you bring the people back, you know, that might have ventured away, you know. And so I think it'll be something. I think that it all depends on how, you know, people respond to it, you know. And so I look forward, and if anybody can, definitely Leo can, for sure, you know. And I think we just got to, on the Bitcoin side, you just get the right people who have the right mind share, and it will automatically flow once you start to let everyone know this is what the meta is, this is what the build is, and people get curious, you know.
Yeah, Leo's definitely. They said they've been working on it for a little while, and it sounds like they made a pivot. At least from what I've read from the investor newsletter, they made a pivot from what their original vision was to build this, or at least from one of the things that they wanted to build. So,
Nice.
that's what a builder is. This is why I always laugh at the when marketing people in the space, or the like, you know, when. It's because marketing in the space is literally being able to pivot to where the attention is. Like, you plan for something 2 months from now, and like imagine trying to build a traditional marketing strategy for AI coins 2 months ago. Like, you literally launched that today and they're all at zero. Like, it just does not work that way. You have to be able to maneuver around the attention on a dime. And to see that Leo is kind of pivoted this way, it means that there's something there maybe we're missing. My question is whether you leverages dog community in some way, like dog the asset, whether it's like some sort of deposit, or if you're a dog holder, then, you know, you get these benefits, or maybe it's community based somehow, where he's pairing all the different communities together in some way, where if you're a dog holder or a pups holder, then, you know, you get these kind of, you know, XYZ features in whatever this kind of protocol is. So
Maybe it's a social layer for Bitcoin. Oh,
yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
That'd be a good move. It'd be difficult, but it'd be a good move.
Be very
Or
interesting.
or .fun.
Before we wrap, I guess, like, everything's nuked. Bitcoin ecosystem nuked, Ethereum ecosystem nuked, Solana ecosystem nuked, NFTs completely nuked, DeFi nuked. You're
Never more bullish, bro. At the same time,
right. So you're a new entrant to the space. Where would you put money? Where would you be looking to put money? What are you looking for? What sector? Everything net is nuked equally. What do you think has the biggest comeback? Where do you think we go the rest of the year?
For me, I like, you know, if you're new, you buy Bitcoin, you buy Ethereum, maybe a little Solana, although Solana might get nuked here for a little bit. I still think they're the winner this cycle. You got to start there. You got to start at the base. And that's why, like, our meme coin bags are down horrendous. All right. You know, all that sort of stuff. But if you still have the core, then you're not down so bad. Right. And so you can play around with some of the other stuff. So that's always my standard advice.
I'll take a little bit of a left field one, just from what I'm seeing pop on the timeline. I think if you're a new entrant, I think they're going to gravitate into gaming. And the reason why is I see FaZe Banks and Aiden Ross and the whole LA cabal pushing the token MLG, which is, I think it's called Major League Gaming, which is like a meme coin. But you also have people like OSF and Mondo who have the kind of wrecked gaming sector and energy. They have like I think they have like the energy drinks are top of that as well. At some point that's going to come back. And if meme coins are considered to be over, like, what is the next kind of normie friendly thing that maybe is relatable? Would be gaming. Even if it is gaming meme coins, like pushing into that direction makes sense. And maybe they all just get funneled through MLG. Maybe that's like what the whole intention is of FaZe Banks is, hey, use them as this gaming meme coin. And then we actually kind of turn this into something else. I know OSF and Mondo try to do something similar with the Epic Duck thing.
Yep.
What about you, Chris?
I mean, I think that this is the institutional cycle. So I think Bitcoin, obviously, but I think within that, the Bitcoin ecosystem, I think there's so much money riding on waiting for something to be a success in that ecosystem, and I want to be there. And I think DeFi. I think Ethereum is going to have a resurgence. Maybe that's the contrarian, but I mean, I think that regulations lining up for it, and these money managers want to put money on chain, and so I'd be looking at DeFi and I'd be looking at Bitcoin.
Yeah, we didn't even cover the regulatory things that happened, dude. There was tons of wins this week. One of them actually made a joke that.
Jake, even though,
What do you say?
Are you tired of winning? Yeah, I don't know.
So much winning.
Tired of winning. So tired.
Right? It got hinted at. The Bitcoin Reserve finally got hinted at. David Sachs had that presentation where the SEC is backing off. They basically said if you're trading meme coins, you're on our own, which I think is the right decision there. The CFTC said they're going to, I think this was yesterday, they're going to revisit their crypto regulations. They said that they're going to allow banks to start participating. Just so much winning. I think there's now about 160 days or so for the regulatory bill or the regulatory framework to come in, right? Leading into utility. That's the most bullish for ETH, if anything, is if you get that thing. I did read in that presentation, or all the notes from what Sachs and some of the group had said, is all the previous ICOs are just going to basically be grandfathered in, and then they're going to create a framework for everything moving forward, which is just like, wow, incredibly bullish, right? So if you're just a cool if you're an OG participant, you're good. I think boomers are just going to fucking love ICOs, man. To me, I think they're going to love ICOs and utility coins more than Zoomers love meme coins. Like, I just think that's at such a like magnitudes more, dude. Like a 10, 100, 1000x more volume than that. Like, they fucking love fundamentals. And what is the best fundamentals is an ICO where they could come in and look at the team and evaluate the P&E, or I
missed that as well myself. Like, that was fun, right?
Yeah, that's the game that the tradition that TradFi plays, right? Just like the Zoomers played this attention game. Like, the people in the stock market love that. Chris, what is it about that you love?
Just more of like an intellectual game, right? There's like a little bit more substance. You can analyze the team, the product. You have to have the vision for it. Just venture investing is like the highest risk, highest reward. But if you can see through like the lines and put the pieces together and see if the team can accomplish what they are looking to do and what that might be in the future, that's like the best game on the planet. I mean, you used to have to fleece people out of their money, right? You used to see, remember like the Indian guy with the different haircuts doing each membership role on the team and stuff like that. Like, that was like, people used to have to work to take their money from you. Now they just launch a dog without a hat.
What about you, Crypto King?
Yeah, I would. One thing you said, it does depend on the age range demographics, but for me, I would send people. I like what Abstract is doing on the SocialFi part. You don't have to put a bunch of money in, and you can see what other streamers are doing. I've got on a couple other streams, and so I'd send them that way. I like small cap DAOs that are very. I think that opportunity trickles down. So if you get into like a good DAO, you can not only see what they're buying, but also you get whitelists from other things as well. I won on that. I'm in like 4 DAOs right now that were very cheap to get into. And then I by being in those, I see the flavor of the market, the current trends, and also get whitelists. So, but as well, there's hundreds of DAOs out there. I picked 4 out of 100. So you have to really, really do your homework. And then just looking towards some of these applications that have SocialFi built in, where it's like your work of pushing the current meta gets rewarded. I think that is something that I'm very interested in as well. And because you said, you're very new, you may be low on funds. That's the way I would push people. And of course, baseline, you always get your Bitcoin and ETH. I would say that's even before you step foot in Web3. Get those things kind of like locked in, and you don't mess with those. And then you figure out how to get another fund that lets you play, in the ecosystem. And yeah, and then as always, your ultimate goal is to become self-sufficient in the space where you're not constantly grabbing your fiat. And yeah, those are kind of the talks I have with new people that come over.
Absolutely love to hear it. Dogfather, we're going to end with you. What's your take on emerging sector, or where do you think people are going when they come in?
Yeah, the best and emerging sector is Bitcoin. So 80% of that should be Bitcoin. Very simple. Whether you like ETH or Sol, I mean, that's a fundamental decision. But I mean, just stack some Bitcoin. I think that's a no-brainer. I'm still bullish on this AI crypto intersection, even though there was now this correction. I would look for relative strength over there and then decide whether you're more into the DeFi game or whether you're more like in these alpha games or in the infrastructure data game. But I mean, AI in crypto just fits so perfectly together. Just from the tech side, I mean, that would be completely stupid to ignore that. I don't know how much money you should put in there. But definitely, I will take this consolidation to see who is surviving, what teams are really shipping, really test out these products, and if you like what you see, and then just get a small bag here and there.
I love to hear it, man. Well, always appreciate having these conversations. It's really over the next few months, the teams that continue to put their head down and continue to build, right? New product is the best catalyst when attention is sparse. I think my engagement on my account is down like quite horrendously. That's always a big indicator. Adam, do you get the same engagement you're getting like a month ago?
It's like zero, man. Goose eggs, right? Yeah, attention moves around, man. It moves. And but you see, you gotta have something that works, man. And at the end of the day, that's what we're excited for, right? It's like get a product out there, let people use it, and then build on it, iterate, get better. That's what it's all about. So excited, man.
Yeah, we might have 2 product lines coming out almost near the same time. Next week, I think we should have an Agent Hustle update. And then also we're going through an audit on Emblem 2.0. So whenever that's done, then start minting some of these assets to these different chains and try to build our own catalyst.
That's right.
Is really what we're about to do here. So
I guess on a note, I mean, no one's gotten punished this cycle more than builders. You think like retail traders have gotten punished. Builders, I mean, their product is used for a day and then they're on to the next. So hats off to the builders, man. It's a tough job this cycle.
Yep. Everyone, please follow the Emblem account as well as Agent Hustle so you can stay up to date with everything that we are doing. Again, we're going to continue to build moving forward with the entire cross-chain vision. We host your show Tuesday through Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. I think next week we have the BRC 2.0 guys on one of the days. So we're going to learn more about what's happening in that fungible token space. Will we get a BRC20 resurgence or revival, or is it dead on the water? I guess we'll find out next week. Until then, everyone have a safe weekend. We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.